Conestoga's evaluation of student learning policy has changed, and it's time to rethink the assessments in your course in concrete terms. If you're curious about the what and the why of those policy changes, we have a video linked for you. In this video, we will look at strategies to align course revisions with updated college policy while bringing pedagogical value to course assessments. When I think about pedagogical value in teaching and assessment, I think about strategies, activities, and tasks that contribute to the learner's progressive development. I think about assessments in which the learner experiments, receives feedback, and in turn adjusts their approach to meet the expectations of learning. Assessments have pedagogical value when they provide valuable formative data on student learning to both the faculty and the student, who similarly gain insight into what most effectively supports learning. So where might I begin if I'm revising the assessments in my course to reflect updated policy regarding the value and number of evaluation items in a course? The possibilities for revising assessments are numerous, and they largely depend on the course and its learning outcomes. A first step is to begin with your course learning outcomes and how they map to evaluation items. I might start by itemizing the evaluations in my course, looking at the course outline, tallying the number of items, and noting their value. More than 7 evaluation items in total, and any single item worth less than 5% should be flagged as an area for revision, although there are exceptions. It's also important to note how many times each learning outcome is assessed. Does each evaluation item align with a learning outcome? The same outcome or outcomes mapped to multiple evaluation items can suggest overassessment, and definitely an area to combine or remove evaluation items. Once you've completed itemizing evaluation items and looking at mapping, it's time to reflect on strengths and limitations of existing assessments. You might ask, for example, what assessments in the current evaluation plan work well? Maybe you see authentic engagement from your students. They give you really creative work. They're motivated. They show up and do the work. Maybe you see them adjusting their learning strategies and improving over time. Or maybe there's a particular assessment that gives you really good formative data and helps inform what you understand about learners and what learners understand about themselves. By contrast, you can reflect on what might not be working so well. Maybe you have some high fail or high pass assessment items, often revealed by data analytics on eConestoga. Maybe you've got some items where you're seeing low engagement by students, or there are repeatedly some incompletions with particular tasks. I also find confusion around assignment instructions a big giveaway when students are struggling with particular assessments. Okay, so we've got several data points. We've got the number and value of assessments from our course outline tally, but we've also got a reflection on success and limitations of existing assessments. Now's the time to consider, what could I combine? What could I condense? What could I differentiate? When I combine assessment items, I think about evaluations that could be grouped under broader categories. Especially important here is to think about where scaffolding could be introduced. For example, could I condense by decreasing the number of evaluations overall? Could I differentiate by clarifying an ungraded formative assessment from a graded one? In this example, I'm proposing to revise a discussion forum post assignment. I'm thinking about, okay, it's in my course, but I want to combine and condense things here. In its current form, the assessment asks students to write 10 discussion forum posts valued at 3% each for a total of 30% of the final grade. The goal of the assessment is for students to demonstrate completion of assigned weekly readings. But these 10 evaluation items exceed the policy updates and have questionable pedagogical value. Why? They limit formative feedback. I don't have the time to reply to all these discussion posts, and students in turn don't have the capacity to adjust their learning. In the long run, this type of assessment can lead to grade inflation and an inaccurate assessment of student learning. It's not giving me an accurate picture of the learning that's happening over time. So my revision might decrease the number of posts. Maybe I'm just gonna have 2, worth 5% each. And I'm gonna layer in a practice case study worth 10%. That will ultimately lead in a scaffolded way to other components in the assessment plan. So students are now demonstrating their understanding, practicing skills, and those are required in subsequent assessments. This reduced number of posts allows students to receive my formative feedback. I've got the time to reply to 2 posts for each student. And it also helps me bring the increased value of the assessment overall. As you work through course revisions this spring, come out to information sessions, workshops, and drop-ins. We've got lots of individualized support available to support you in this process. We're happy to help, so reach out to Teaching and Learning for more support.